Now we're into the sewer improvements and try to bring you some background on that.
Originally, the project was for the so-called 11th Street sewer was intended to solve some basement backups, roughly in the area of Gishwiller and 11th, up around not too far from the Aquatic Center. As we started going through the capacities of these pipes more and more in detail, we really determined that all we're doing is potentially moving the problem downstream. And that became a real concern. And we've been working with the subcommittee on this as well. You know, as we continued to go, we kept chasing capacity and we never found it. And I know this is a little hard to see because it's pretty small, but we looked at about every possible idea to make this happen that you could imagine. The one project in here that's called number 1, if you're familiar with, here's 5th Street and 11th Street right here. There's a pink line that goes down through what is the city park and down 5th Street. And there's kind of a ravine in there. Okay, basically that is the main sewer for the west half of town. And it became very quickly apparent that that sewer does not have enough capacity and isn't in all that great a condition. There's a manhole we talked about earlier that overflows a lot. You'll notice all this area here comes down this pipe and hits that manhole. Most of the area in this area comes down there and hits that manhole. And all this here comes down and hits that same manhole. And the pipe itself is pretty old, and there's a creek that runs right beside it. Remember we talked about I&I. Well, when the pipe is leaky and it's sitting in the bottom of a creek, obviously we're pumping a lot of the creek. And in fact, that manhole there blows its top and loses water, but it probably also lets water in it. So, working with the subcommittee, it was kind of identified that that was a pretty important thing to fix, because until that is ready to go, all this area up in here really can't be fixed effectively because everything has to go through there. Project number 2 was, and I got to stop and remember which ones are which here. We also looked at, I got to stop and think here, I'm having a brain lapse.
Number 2 is the blue one.
The blue one here. We looked at an alternative route to go down 11th Street and ended up going down the alley between 11th and 12th, running up to, was it Bailey?
Mm-hmm.
Across Bailey, and then down the alley between 11th and 10th to get to the ravine. What that means is we've taken all this sewer here and we've taken that down this route, which means that 11th Street right in here where the problems were basically has an empty pipe. The price tag for that was pretty healthy though. Can you tell me how much?
That was about $490,000.
So about $500,000 to see that a few houses don't have wastewater getting in their basement. So probably maybe not the best use of the money. And number 3 was, refresh my memory.
Okay, number 3 is the green. That's the alternate down 9th.
Down 9th. We looked across here, and there was a little basin here that goes down 9th Street. And there's these pipes here, although not connected, are very close to connected. So we thought, well, let's put a connection in there, which means that it runs down here to this pump station at the country club. It then gets pumped back up the hill and runs down 9th Street. Well, in the course of that, we came to the conclusion, and your plant people definitely echoed this, that right here at Duffy, that pipe is almost flat and over capacity now, and probably that's not a very good plan. This pump station would have had to have been upgraded significantly too. And what was the cost on that?
The cost on that was about $1.1 million.
And again, we could probably get the problem solved, but it probably isn't a very good, at least not a very good first priority. What was number 4?
The next one is orange.
That would be, this is my harebrained idea. We do the same thing here. We put this little short piece of pipe in. We go down here to the pump station and we build the pump station up. And then this red line is the force main that goes from the main lift station up to the plant. Was to directionally bore a pipe all the way across, under the highway, under the river, and connect into that force main and completely bypass using all this infrastructure. We could probably solve the problem again, but this pump station would have to be significantly upgraded, and we've got to put in 3,800 feet of pipe to get that done.
And then the cost on that was about $550,000.
So another fairly expensive project. Number 6,
Number 6 is lining the fairground.
and there's one ahead of that, I believe, or was
Oh,
that?
sorry.
That was short.
Yeah,
Number 5.
5 is lining 11.
Number 5 was to line a piece of 12, or a piece of Gishwiller, excuse me, and around the corner into 11. After we looked at these sewer tapes again and again and again, and we kind of came to the conclusion that a lot of the problem is roots. Keeping those roots out is a big deal. And currently it's clean, but in order to keep those roots out, because there's a lot of open joints, we could probably go in there and cure and place alignment. And what that means is, essentially, we go in there and we put a sock in this thing. Oh, you got some. All right. You even know what it looks like.
Oh, very good.
It'd be to do this to the pipe. That keeps the roots out. And it hopefully keeps the pipe cleaner. And we also determined that there were a few spots where there were some bad pipes, but we think we can find them and go, if need be, dig them up and do a small replacement in the street.